Welcome to Butterflies of Wisdom, everyone. Today, you not only get to hear me, you get to hear about one of my other favorite side passions, which I'll actually be getting paid for as of September. Thank you very much. And so one of my other favorite side passions is music and singing and listening to music and all that good stuff. So I don't even get to share my other favorite passion that often with you guys. But without further ado, I'm going to let Matthew take it away, who is my special guest. And we're going to be talking about music and music education. I'm so excited.
Thank you very much. I'm thrilled to be here.
I am thrilled to have you. So, Matthew, please give my audience a little brief synopsis of you and why you started teaching music and what led you to pursue your passion, which I assume is your passion, to teach music.
Sure. So I was in 6th grade when I was about to do my first musical, the musical Annie, which is very popular nowadays. And my dad actually had to bribe me to be a part of it because I thought it was for girls.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, boy.
The first time I did it, I got hit with the theater bug, and I couldn't stop doing theater. I was doing musical theater all over the place, acting, dancing, you name it. And I decided that I wanted to try and make a go for it as a profession. I went to school for vocal performance. I was singing operas and all of that, which was another fun aspect of music to look into. And while I was going through college, I had a lot of voice questions, and I didn't know where to get the answers. So last winter, I decided to take a teacher training course in the city with a very well-known vocal coach, Justin Stoney. He owns New York Vocal Coaching. And it opened my eyes to the world of vocal health and science, and that became my number one passion over performing. So I talked with a lot of high schools in the area, and students hopped on board, and I've been trying to learn with them as well as teach them so I can figure out more about the voice and apply all that I can figure out.
Yeah. Okay, so you're more of a teacher that also studies the voice.
Correct.
Isn't that interesting? Because I thought up until today that a vocal teacher could actually go and teach a student how to sing, but it's the building blocks that starts it all. I mean, if you fly your voice, there's no turning back. I mean, I've had interviewers say, when I lost my voice, I can't do the interview. So that being said, how do we, from a podcasting perspective and from a music perspective, protect our number one instrument, which is our voice?
Well, of course, what everybody is told, what everybody hears, is to hydrate, and it's so important. So drinking a lot of water is the most important thing you could do for your voice. If you don't drink a lot of water, it makes your voice very tired, and you have to work harder to use your voice. It fatigues quicker, and then you get raspiness, discomfort. And the other part of it is we're a society who likes to talk all the time, whether it's with friends, families. We go out, go to the bar, we go to parties, and we always want to be using our voices. And it's a muscle just like any other muscle in our body. The more we use it, the more we're going to wear it down. So as podcasters, as someone who conducts interviews often, as someone who has to do presentations often, we have to be aware of how often we use the voices and when we can take breaks during the day so that the vocal folds themselves can heal and recuperate.
Okay. So you hear that, you guys? That's why I don't do podcasting in the morning. Now maybe it's my secret. That's why I typically do podcasting in the afternoon or or make it a full day of podcasting only on one day, because I need my voice to stay active, and I don't want to lose my voice in the midst of doing the podcast. So, never mind. Matthew knows my secret now of why I try and do podcasting in the afternoon, because we all need to save our voice. So, Matthew, other than drinking water, what would be your best tip to the newbie podcaster? I'm not the newbie podcaster, trust me, but to the newbie podcaster who wants to get into a podcast, but knows that if they overuse it, it's going to lose the fun of it all very quickly.
Right. Well, once you face that struggle of dealing with a pained, fatigued voice, it's hard to overcome it. It's hard to change those habits so that the folds can heal themselves. And it becomes discouraging after a long time. I feel that the voice is a source of personality and confidence. And when you lose that piece of yourself, it's easy to get down and out about certain things. So the voice should be something of joy, should be something of celebration, as opposed to something to worry about.
Yeah. And for the new the singer/music teacher here, what's the best way to quit screaming at kids? I felt last year, as I was in my 11th year of teaching preschool, I felt like I was losing my voice and getting sick every single week at the end of last year, because I was talking at a rate that either the kids couldn't understand me or they were just so focused on playing that it didn't help any of us. So what's the best tip for that music teacher in the classroom that doesn't want to be the nasty person and doesn't want to be yelling at the kids, but yet she has to yell at the kids, hit me, and I mean, it's a fine line.
It definitely is, and believe it or not, a lot of music teachers find that they have vocal damage because of how often they need to use their voices, and they have to be full of energy all the time to keep the energy of the students and to keep the attention of them. Now with technology, it's a lot easier to fix this. Some schools could offer microphones so that you don't have to shout to be heard. And for the schools that don't have microphones, if you create like a clapping pattern or a hand sign that you do whenever you need silence, that way you're not shouting over the children the entire time.
Okay. This Lynn is going to have a clapping pattern because I can tell with a bunch of third graders, even though I'm working with the person who is trained in music, she actually went to school and then decided to get trained in music. But I can tell already that we'll have a clapping pattern implemented when I'm there, because I don't want to lose my voice. It's tough enough when you lose your voice. Then you lose days of work, and that's all. Nothing can just.
Right. Now, once your voice is tired, you still have to go to school every day, and you have to, keep up that energy and keep up that
exactly.
character. So it gets tiring.
Exactly.
But it's another fun thing that you can do with the students in making your own way of how to get their attention if you don't want to be using your voice over them all the time. Coming up with a certain, almost like a secret handshake, so that when they see that, they know, okay, it's time to focus, it's time to work. That might be a fun activity to do with the class.
Yeah, exactly. That's going to be my first trick out of the book. These kids are like, I don't want to be yelling. I don't want to be screaming, because then they'll go home until their parents, Miss Wynn, yelled at us, which I'll need to get them to pay attention, which is not cool. Not cool in my book. So I think the clapping pattern would work because I want to save my voice so I can continue this podcast. And that being said, Matthew, what is your favorite podcast if you have one?
I have to think a lot about this because I know a lot of friends who are into podcasts and who have their own. And I think my favorite right now, it's called Not Alone. And I'm friends with the people who run this one. I'm friends with the hosts. And it's all based on the supernatural and myths and debunking and researching strange stories and happenings around the country. It's very fascinating. It's a great way just to, enjoy and lay back a little bit and relax and learn something new about the strange and supernatural.
Well, Not Alone, and I'm presuming
correct.
Not Alone could be found in all podcast hosts. Yes, and we're being biased because Matthew's friends with the host, but that's okay. We can be biased. We can have favorite podcasts, and we actually know the podcast host or beloved podcast host. And so, Matthew, what is your favorite book? It doesn't have to be business related. It just has to be a book that you go back to time and time again.
This is another one that I really get to think on. I have shelves upon shelves of vocal anatomy books and technique books and music books.
I bet you do.
Above that, I decided that my favorite book is Bridges of Madison County. And that they actually just made a musical about that as well. And
of course they did.
Right, so I learned it from the musical, and then I had to read the book. And the book is one of the most charming, most beautiful romances I've ever read. It's written by Robert James Waller, and he has incredible word painting skills that he paints poetry out of the way he writes. It was such a beautiful book.
Well, good. And what is your favorite technology tool that you use on a daily basis? And yes, iPhone, you count.
This is one that I've learned from my teacher training, which I think is the coolest thing in the world. It's called Spectrum View. It's an app on the iPhone, so it kind of goes along with using that every day. And when you speak into it, this is a fun thing for you to try as well if you have the time and space on your phone. It's a free app that when you talk into it, it records the sound waves of your voice. So you can hear the resonances, you can hear how loud you're being, you can hear how different vowels change how our ears pick up sound. And it's fun as a voice teacher because I can let a student sing while watching this and point out where in the graph they're making certain sounds and how it changes with different effects of the voice.
How cool is that? I may have to get that app for myself, and I may have to get that app for my students as well because they like technology. I know they do. And so how cool is that? You can actually tell the tone of your voice with the app. How cool is that using technology now? And so why did you begin what you began? I know you said at the top of the show you were convinced to be an Annie, but did you ever have a full-time job in music, or were you just a solo entrepreneur to begin with?
In college, I wanted to start bringing in money, and I wasn't quite sure how to do that, so that's when I began to open up my own studio for private voice lessons.
Yeah.
And
yeah,
one student turned into 3, which turned into 10, and it's starting to grow. And now that I just finished school, I really want to bring in more students and start to make it more of a full-time endeavor.
I figured that you did. Well, this podcast, or so I hope, will help you bring in students, because I know I get listeners from around the world / on the West Coast / on the East Coast. I mean, I was just looking at one of my stats this morning, and you'd be happy to know, Matthew, that my biggest download is in California and New York. So I don't know why, but probably because of the commute. But hopefully, being on this podcast, it will bring me more students.
Thank you. I appreciate that. And I do teach through Skype and FaceTime as well. So there are online options to teach, which is another great example of how technology has changed how we work with other people.
Yeah. And so, Matthew, I have a question for you. If you had to be educated by anyone inside your field or outside your field, who would it be and why would you be educated by them? And what question would you ask them?
I would say I'm really thankful that my mentor who owns New York Vocal Coaching, Justin Stoney, he's the one who I'd want to be taught by, and I still have connections with him, and I'm still learning from him. So I'm thrilled that I have the opportunity to work with someone who I look up to so much. As someone who's taught over 25,000 hours worth of voice lessons, he's taught immensely, and he's done a lot of research, and he's connected to the musical theater world, the opera world, the pop rock world, and he's just the kindest, most guiding person I probably know. So luckily I am able to work with the person that I look up to and I want to learn more from. And I suppose I'd ask him, because he has a gorgeous voice too, why he decided to go the voice teaching route as opposed to performing for a career.
Yeah, because I know that performing is a fee in itself. I've been told that unless you make it on Broadway, you're not going to necessarily make it unless you can do a side hustle. So being a music teacher is easier than being an actual performer, so I've been told.
Yeah, no, that's true. There are definitely different struggles, but it's tough as a performer to try and make it to that top spot on Broadway. There's a lot of struggles along the way.
Yep. We're not talking about the kids here. We're talking about the average Joe and those who want to be solo entrepreneurs and those who want to be in the music industry. More power to them. More power to them because it's tough. It's tough when you're a teacher. It's tough when you're a performer. So it's a catch-22. Whether you want to pursue your passions or whether you want to be stuck behind a cubicle, that is up to you. I wouldn't like to pursue my passions, but that's just me. And now this year I finally get to pursue my passions, and I'll be doing that for the next 3 years, and then I'm becoming a full-time freelance journalist, believe it or not, leaving the education field. And so that's going to be a totally different art form in itself.
That's exciting. Congratulations.
Thank you. And so where can people find you, and how can people get a hold of you?
I actually also run a podcast called Vocalogical. So if you go to vocalogical.com, that has all of my contact information. And you can also message me at matt@vocalogical.com.
You're going to have to send me the RSS feed of that one because I subscribed in Apple Podcast and then didn't have a chance to listen to it. And just to let you guys know, I've deleted my Apple Podcast app. So if you don't see Colorado, one person from Colorado picking it up, that's me probably. And so you guys would have to send me RSS feeds. I got a different way of doing it, but Matt's going to have to send me his RSS feed so I can learn from him via his podcast.
Wonderful. So yeah, I'll send it to you.
Well, yeah, I know you will. And I will send you this episode. I'm always good in sending episodes out. And so, Matt, do you have any questions for me? You can ask me 2 to 4 questions that you've been dying to ask me.
Absolutely. So I know that you have a lot of passions. You run the podcast. You teach music. You want to do freelance journaling. I know you're an author. What would you say is your top passion to work on?
Oh, my top passion to work on. Now my job is turning into my passion. My top passion would be 1, my book, 2, this podcast.
Nice. And I suppose my second question is, you just mentioned that you've been working with students in music for a few years now, many years. What's your favorite age group to teach?
Correction. I've been working with preschool for 11 years. I walked away from that in May of the last year. For the past 11 years, I haven't got to work with older kids yet. So working with older kids, I will deal with them nicely because I deal with older kids nicely than I do with the preschool age, I hate to admit. But I hate to admit that due to my physical disability, preschool and I didn't mix due to my cerebral palsy, and it wasn't necessarily due to my cerebral palsy. It was more due to my psyche, because I'm such on the creative side that it just drove me halfway nuts. And I admit that publicly that this will be my first year pursuing my passion in something I enjoy.
Mm-hmm. And I would like to thank you as another music teacher that you spend time working with those to inspire creativity in music and passion for it.
Oh God, that's gonna make me cry now, because today is the first time that a person has actually called me a music teacher. I'll take it, Matt. And so I always want to inspire the next generation, and I always want to teach the arts, and I wish I had now done it sooner, and I'm actually sending this podcast episode to both my colleagues because I want them to hear speaking, and I'm also sending this episode potentially to my boss because I want him to hear what different technologies could be used in the classroom, because unfortunately the music teacher that we had retired, and he wasn't so much into technology as he was into music. So I think I know integrating technology and music together will be a perfect fit for those who want to do it. And I know that you guys don't have to start a podcast like Matthew and I have done, but just integrating small pieces of technology into your music classroom, it will save it all. It will save the kids from getting bored. It will save the teachers' voices from being scolded over the years, because the kids won't get bored, so then they won't act out, so then you don't have to deal with them. And you can rescue your voice at the same time if you just implement technology in the classroom. And so that app you recommended, that earlier, I will get on my phone. You might have to text me that one because I will go directly to the App Store after this phone call and download it just because I want to see what it does. And yes, that's good. Everyone's happy when they don't get yelled at, and teachers happy when they say their voices. But I wanted to bring you on this podcast because music is one of those things that helps the soul and helps put a different perspective on my life. They have actually done studies with people with physical disabilities and how music changes the physical disability in a way that is shocking. And if I can find the study, I will put it in the show notes because you guys would be amazed what CT and music could do. So I'm really happy that Matt came on the podcast today, and I wish him best of luck with his studio, and I wish him best of luck with his podcast.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me. It was a lot of fun.
Well, you're welcome. And this podcast has been sponsored by Grace by Grit. Grace by Grit is a clothing line out of California, and they're giving you guys 20% off. And so when you guys click on the show notes, click on the cover artwork, and then it will take you to the show notes. You guys will not only see Matt's information, you will see the sponsored links, and then we all should be good at that. And thanks to you guys for listening to another fabulous episode. Thanks to you guys.